What's going on, everybody? This is Century Age of Ashes. It just dropped for free on the Xbox Marketplace. And I have to say, this game's doing some pretty cool shit I ain't never seen before. But it's got a lot of work to be done before I would consider it something magnificent. So this game is a PvP-only dragon flying game. It's pretty awesome. Now, we can get into the semantics, because technically they're wyverns, but not actually dragons, but that's just semantics. But the flying feels exceptional. I play with a controller on Xbox. It feels great. I'm able to pull off cool maneuvers, you know, kind of juke people out and do cool stuff. It feels great. It handles really well. My only exception to this, though, is sometimes you get stuck on walls, like really badly stuck on walls. And I think that just has to do with the fact that your dragon is like pretty much always going forward. I mean, that happens. But if you get stuck on a wall in the middle of a chase, you can pretty much, you know, kiss your ass goodbye. You're not making it anywhere. But aside of some weird, goofy collisions, the flying feels really good. It's fast, it's responsive, and it's fun. It's honestly a lot of fun pulling off cool type maneuvers and flying through tiny gaps and doing stuff like that. Combat itself is extremely simple. You have three classes. You have your Marauder, which is like your attack class. You have your Windrunner, who's more of a support class. And then you have your Phantom, who's sort of weirdly placed. I don't know how the Phantom kind of fits into it, because the Phantom is supposed to be like your assassin type class, but they don't really play like that. The Phantom's kind of weird. I like the Phantom a lot because of their abilities, but they all kind of handle differently. They each have a unique style of dragon that they ride, and one of the biggest issues with the combat is the fact that everything is just lock-on. Everything is just lock-on. It's not like there's very little skill involved in some of the fights, because it's just all I have to do is keep my reticle on you and blast away at you. And you have your basic attack, which is a lock-on fireball, which if you're really good and you stay close to sort of obstacles, you can break locks pretty easy. But if you're in the open, you're pretty much toast. Unless you can pull some super crazy maneuvers off, which is kind of hard sometimes when you have multiple opponents bearing down on you. It's hard to break a lock in the open. And then the flamethrower attack, when you get up close, the fire breath, is insanely overpowered. The lock-on is mental, like wraps around corners. Like there's times where you're like, oh, I broke line of sight, but no, they're still torching you. This to me kind of gets rid of a lot of the skill involved with this game when everything is just lock on. And I wish they would just, like, the fire breath, I understand being lock on, but I wish that the fireballs were just a straight shot. I don't understand how they're lock on. Like, I get when you're up close and the dragon itself takes over sort of the lock-on when you get close to breathe fire on them, but the fireball's like curving and stuff like that. I wish they would just change it to free fire, and then you'd have to actually like lead your target like you would in let's say like a traditional like dog fight, dragon fight. It's hard to figure out your terminology when talking about this game. Now those two elements combined create a very unique experience. I haven't ever played a game like this, quite frankly. And it's a lot of fun. This game is actually, like, stupid amounts of fun. But there's some glaring issues, and I think this comes from being a free game. Now, I will say, of the free games I've played recently, this game is actually exceptionally well put together. This game is actually, like, we had one crash last night, and we played for a few hours, and I've played for a few more hours today as of the recording of this. And there's only been one crash. It plays well. You know, I think that there's some hit registration issues, but I think that's pretty much all PvP games. I don't think you're going to find a PvP game without hit registration issues of some sort or the other. Now, I want to cover some of the glaring issues this game has. Number one, crossplay. Crossplay is disgusting. I turned crossplay off almost immediately within my own console settings because PC players can do things that you can't do on a controller, and we also encountered a couple of cheaters last night. We were having issues with cheaters, and it's kind of insane. I mean, I didn't expect to fight a cheater in a game like this. And I mean, whoever it was doing the most insane moves, like complete 180s. They had no collision against walls. They were like, their movement speed was like they were doing the boost at all times. They were just so insanely fast. And it was like, cool. And because there's no block settings, if you're on Xbox, you can't just like block somebody. You have to turn crossplay off completely. Now, I will say, we also, with crossplay off, we did not experience any matchmaking issues. We found our matches every single time, so we had no issues with that whatsoever. This game is also experiencing a Halo Infinite problem. And that's the fact that you have, there's a couple of game modes, but they're all like locked. Or they're stuck in playlists versus having their own separate playlists. You have Spoils of War, which is a 6v6 mode where you're charged with like collecting gold and dropping it off at your horde. There's also Carnage, which is like kind of like Team Deathmatch. Those are in the same playlist, and unfortunately you have weekly challenges. If you have weekly challenges to complete matches of Carnage, last night when we played a couple of dozen matches and we only played Carnage like twice. We played Spoils of War pretty much every other time. And then there's the ranked playlist, which is locked from, was it 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and then 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. I wish that was open all the time so the tryhards would go into those lobbies and leave those of us who are just looking to casually play to ourselves. And then there's like a smaller playlist that gets refreshed every day and it switches between like game modes. I don't like that. I wish all the playlists were open so that I could play what I wanted to play when I wanted to play it. Because it makes me like, because if there's, you know, you're going to want to play, if there's a certain mode you really love, you're only going to come back and play it the days that it's on versus, you know, this being like a daily game you might want to log in and play a few rounds of. In its current state with that, it doesn't make me, it has no longevity to me. It has no longevity. I want to be able to play the game mode I want to play when I want to play it. Not either A, randomly get that game mode, or B, you know, just wait. I don't like that. That is something they need to fix, like, immediately. That is something that they should change, like, within the first couple of weeks here of this game being out. Like, it needs to be addressed. It has been a constant headache for Halo Infinite, and I cannot believe that they would continue, like, another game developer would not learn a lesson and release a game doing the exact same thing without independent playlists. Now, of course, this game is free. You can earn a lot of cosmetic items. Leveling up is it's very grindy. It's a free game, though, as I said. So leveling up can take you quite a bit of time. Do not let that deter you. Like, play the game. Like, if you're playing well and you're playing your objectives and you're doing, like, your daily and weekly stuff, you can level up at a decent clip. So that's if you feel like putting in the time. For some of the cosmetics are cool and some of them are uninspired. I can honestly say I don't care about getting cosmetics for my rider. Why would I care about cosmetics? This is a dragon game. I don't care what my rider has. I want my dragon to have cool shit. That's what people see. That's what people are going to be the most interested in seeing is cool dragon stuff, not the person riding the dragon. Some people might like it. I could care less. I would rather have my dragon all decked out and cool stuff. But that's just me. That's the stuff I like. Other than that, though, there's like XP boosters you can buy and stuff like that. There's no pay to win. You can get super fancy dragons, but your dragon has legitimately no stats. Your dragon doesn't mean anything, and that's it. Like, your dragon is just there to look cool and flex on other people who might not have that dragon yet, or if you spent your money to get dragons, you can do that. Anyways, I think this is a super cool game. I think this has a lot of promise. I think it's got a lot of potential, but I think the devs really need to, like, really rally and make this game way more user-friendly. Make it so that players can play what they want to play when they want to play it. Stop locking your playlists. They need to figure out some sort of anti-cheat if this game's going to have any longevity. From what I've heard is it's been out on PC a little while, and cheating over there has been rampant. They need to fix that because it's going to really deter console players, and I understand a lot of console players do not understand that if you're on Xbox, you can go directly into your settings and shut crossplay off entirely. Mine is usually off, but I had mine on for other reasons. But this game has some cool stuff going on, and I would like to see maybe a PvE mode like permanently added. I would like some sort of experience for players who want to play the game but don't necessarily always want to play against other players. I think that would go a long way, and I think most games benefit from having PvE modes in with the PvP. Now, I'm not saying like a full campaign or something like that, but some sort of like survival mode or something like that. I think they do have one, but it's locked. You can only play it like 2 days a week, and that sucks. So something permanent that players can sink their teeth into. I like PvP, and I also like PvE. There's times where I just want to play PvE, ruin some bots, and have a good time. So hopefully they'll consider that for the future. Anyways, everybody, make sure to leave a like, a dislike, comment, subscribe for more if you're not already subscribed. And if you've played Century Age of Ashes, make sure to let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Curious to see how the community and folks are receiving it. I know the initial reviews on Xbox have been mostly positive, and just curious to see how people are receiving it. Because if you're looking for something new and different, this is something new and different. And it's free. I recommend downloading it. It's only like 16 gigs. So give it a shot for yourself. Anyway, hope you have a wonderful day. I hope to catch you in the next video.